Today, we're going to unpack the genius of an orchid that's a true master of survival and seduction. It's tough, it's gorgeous, and it has a secret that, well, it only reveals at night. Let's get to know Brassavola Nodosa. In many parts of Central and South America where it's native, people call it the Dama de la Noche, the Lady of the Night. And believe me, that name is way more than just a pretty phrase. It is a huge clue to a captivating secret that only starts to unfold after the sun goes down. So that's really our mission in this explainer. How in the world does this one plant create one of the most powerful, most intoxicating perfumes in the entire orchid world, but only at night? And what's the deal with its legendary toughness? Let's dive in. To really get what makes this orchid so special, we have to start with its design. Its physical form isn't just for looks. Every single part of this plant is like a piece of high-performance survival gear, perfectly engineered for a tough life. Its entire survival blueprint really boils down to three key components: its super unique leaves, its specialized stems, and its surprisingly high-tech roots. Put them all together, and you've got an absolute master of managing resources. Okay, first up, just look at these leaves. They're not flat like you'd expect, right? They're what we call terete, which basically means they're like fleshy green needles. Now, this design is absolutely brilliant because it dramatically cuts down on the surface area that's exposed to the sun and wind. And that means way less water evaporates. It's a critical tool for surviving a drought. Next, we have the pseudobulbs. These skinny, stem-like parts are pretty much the orchid's personal water tanks. When it rains, they swell up, storing water and nutrients. Then, when things get dry for a long time, the plant just taps into those reserves. This is a huge reason why it has that tough-as-nails reputation. And the final piece of this survival puzzle, and this is seriously cool, is all in the roots. They're covered in this special tissue called velamen, which acts just like a super absorbent sponge. The second it rains, or even if it just gets really humid, these roots can suck up that moisture in a matter of seconds, and you can actually see them turn from a silvery white to green. It lets the plant take a big drink, fast, whenever it gets the chance. So we've established it's built to survive. It's tough, but now let's get to the real mystery. What happens at night? Turns out, this orchid isn't just working one night shift, it's working two. One is for seduction, and the other is pure survival. First, that perfume. Let's be clear, this is not just some random, pleasant smell. Oh no, this is a precisely engineered chemical cocktail aimed at a very specific audience: nocturnal sphinx moths. It's a complex mix of compounds, from minty cineole to sweet linalool, all creating this irresistible signal that basically says, hey, over here, to pollinators flying around in the dark. But here's where it gets incredibly smart. The plant only makes this perfume, which takes a lot of energy, when the moths are actually out flying around. It has this internal clock, kind of like we do, that's synced to the light and dark cycle. It flips the perfume factory on right at dusk and then shuts it all down at sunrise. The takeaway? Zero energy is wasted advertising to a daytime crowd that isn't even there. It's just brilliant efficiency. Okay, that was night shift number one. The second night shift is all about how it breathes. See, most plants open up the little pores on their leaves during the hot day to take in CO2, but in the process they lose a ton of water. While Brassavola Nodosa has this amazing workaround. It does all of its breathing at night when it's cool and humid, so it loses way less moisture. Then, all day long, it seals its pores up tight. It's basically holding its breath all day to save every single drop of water, while it uses the sunlight to photosynthesize. It's an incredible survival strategy. All right, so learning about this plant's incredible survival toolkit isn't just a fun botany lesson. It is literally the instruction manual for keeping it happy in your home. The real key is to just think like the orchid and try to mimic the environmental cues it's already built for. So to do that, you have to picture where it comes from. Its natural home is pretty intense. We're talking coastal cliffs, mangrove swamps, places with high heat, bright sun, and even salt spray. It's designed for a cycle of getting drenched with rain and then being completely dry for long periods. This is definitely not some delicate flower hiding in a deep, dark forest. Not at all. And what does all that tell you? This thing is a sun worshiper. It needs a lot of light. We're talking around 3,000 foot candles, which for most of us means something like an east-facing window with direct morning sun, or maybe a really bright south-facing window with a sheer curtain to diffuse the light a bit. Honestly, getting the light right is probably the number one most important thing you can do to get it to bloom. But how do you know if you're giving it enough light? Easy. The orchid will literally tell you. If you start to see these little reddish-purple freckles on the leaves, that's the sweet spot. That's a natural sunscreen the plant produces. Now, if the leaves are a really deep dark green, it might look healthy, but it's actually telling you it's starving for more sun. As for temperature, just remember, it's a tropical plant. It likes it warm. An ideal daytime range is somewhere between 70 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 21 to 29 Celsius. For most homes, that's pretty easy to achieve. Now for the big question. Should you pot it or mount it? Well, mounting it on a piece of cork bark is how it would grow in nature, and it makes root rot almost impossible. The catch is that it dries out super fast, so you'll probably need to water it every single day in the summer. Potting it in a really chunky, open bark mix is another great option, especially if you live somewhere dry. You just have to be really careful not to overwater it. Really, the best choice just comes down to your growing space and your watering habits. But the story doesn't end there. On top of being just a fantastic plant all by itself, Brassavola Nodosa has this whole other secret life. It's one of the most important and influential parents in the entire history of orchid breeding. So what makes it a super parent? It's all about predictability. When you cross it with another orchid, it almost always passes on that signature star-like flower shape and that big, beautiful heart-shaped lip. But, and this is the really cool part, it's recessive for color. That means it lets the colors of the other parent completely take over. And breeders have gone absolutely wild with this. I mean, there are thousands of famous hybrids. You can see how it works right here. In black, Magi, you get that classic Nodosa shape, but with a beautiful lavender color from the other parent. Or look at black Benosa. You get green petals, but that lip is covered in purple spots, which is a trait it inherited and magnified from the Nodosa side. It's an incredible genetic tool for creating new and exciting orchids. And even within the species itself, there's a rock star. The one everybody wants is a particular clone called Susan Fuchs. It's what's known as a tetraploid, which means it has 4 sets of chromosomes instead of the normal 2. And what that gets you is a plant that is just bigger, stronger, and has larger, thicker, more substantial flowers than the average Brassavola Nodosa. It is the undisputed superstar of the species. Which brings us right back to where we started. We've got a plant that's so simple and forgiving that a total beginner can grow it, yet it's so complex that it has mastered nocturnal chemistry and extreme survival. So, is it the perfect beginner's orchid, or is it the ultimate botanical survivor? The brilliant answer, of course, is that it's both.